Please welcome Pete Matthews, Editor-in-Chief and Conference Director of Firehouse.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Columbus and welcome to Firehouse Expo. For those of you who have been here for hands-on training or the pre-conference session the last couple of days, I hope you all had a great experience so far. And for those of you who are just getting in this morning, thank you for being here. We hope you have a great week. We've got a lot of really exciting folks that we're working with, a lot of great things with Columbus's anniversary as well. So thank you. I've enjoyed meeting a lot of new people this year. It's great to learn your stories, learn where you're from, what you're doing, what you guys need. That helps us on the media side, on the show side, kind of plan out what we're doing. So thank you for all the folks who have said hello and shared what's going on with you. It's great to see students. It's great to see rookie firefighters here. We had a lot of chiefs of department here as well, and we had a lot of folks who have been on the job for just about a year whose chiefs have given them permission to go out, or actually encourage them to go out and do outside training. So we're really excited for that. So it's a great opportunity to hone new skills and also learn new tips to bring home with you. We're offering many new classes this year to help you respond to the latest challenges and also lessons learned from the horrible tragedies that we've seen the last few years. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of great triumphs, but there's also been some very tragic losses that we'll cover over the next few days. Without you and your I'd like to also thank the instructors. You take a lot of time away from your families, your jobs. The amount of work that they put in to everything that goes on here is outstanding. We thank you for your dedication to the fire service and for all that you do. I'd also like to thank the folks at the Ohio Fire Academy, Columbus Division of Fire, West Licking Fire District, and all the departments who supplied fire apparatus and personnel and equipment for the hands-on training. It's truly a regional effort, and it's just exactly what the fire service is, right? It's a great opportunity to bring everybody together and just meet new friends, make new relationships, but come together to make sure that everybody's better prepared for what's going on. Congratulations to Chief Happ and the Columbus Division of Fire on their 200th anniversary. They have really set the bar high in the fire service. That's one of the reasons we chose Columbus as a location, and we're excited to see what they do over the next few years as well. As you can see in their slideshow, they have done a lot of great things on the EMS side, on the fire side, community risk reduction and outreach, so congratulations on that. I would also like to offer a special congratulations to the folks from Box 15, which is a Columbus-based firefighter rehab group. This year they're celebrating their 75th anniversary of dedicated support to area firefighters. It's a group of dedicated volunteers who give their time to support firefighters in Columbus and the counties surrounding us. They provide rehab, hydration, and other support roles, including moral support when you come out of a building. We've been very fortunate to work with them. I met Joe O'Brien 2 years ago when we were first here for some visits for the conference. He's become a good friend, all the folks at Box 15 have. And I'd just like to thank them for all the work that they do. They've been in hot training the last few days. And I'd like to give them a round of applause for all their efforts. On this morning's news, I was watching a little bit of it before I came over here, and we have Hurricane Ian coming up to Florida. It paints a serious picture for the folks who live in Florida. And just so you know, we've had a couple of instructors who either had to return home or were unable to make it up due to their commitments to their communities. So please, as you go around, check the classes, just make sure the boards are, we have updated the boards for that, but a few folks unfortunately could not be here because of Ian. But more importantly, let's keep the folks in Florida and the storm path in our thoughts today. It's been a rough year for the fire service with several tragic line of duty deaths, not that anyone isn't, but Baltimore and St. Louis saw some very, very challenging days early this year. We've also had a lot of serious close calls, unfortunately, and still firefighters die in New York City from 9/11 related illnesses. And also this year, on the Firehouse side, we lost 3 of our very key cornerstones of the Firehouse brand. In January, Firehouse founder Denis Smith passed away. He was a brilliant man who started his career as an FDNY firefighter in the war years in a busy South Bronx Engine Company 82. He took his talents from the Bronx to Park Avenue in Manhattan, where he began Firehouse. If it were not for Denis Smith's desire to further promote the fire service and pass along the traditions, skills, and heritage, we would not be here today. Denis started Firehouse magazine after writing Report from Engine Company 82, and for the decades that followed, he pushed firefighters into the national spotlight through Firehouse, his books, and other writings. Just days after his final column appeared in Firehouse, we learned of the tragic death of Jim Smith, the longtime fire studies columnist, on March 1st. Jim wrote for decades for us as he navigated the Philadelphia Fire Department, where he retired as a deputy chief. He was a champion for incident command, strategy and tactics, and shared other life-saving skills over his 40-plus year career in the fire service. He was an incident command trainer at the National Fire Academy, and anybody here who's worked in incident command can thank Jim. Jim kind of set the foundation for that. Jim's son, a fire chief in New Jersey, wrote the day his father passed away. Dad was a legend and a Hall of Famer in the fire service. However, he was an even better person. As much as he meant to the fire service, he played a bigger role in the lives of his family. His heart was as big and as open as his mustache was prominent. On June 17th, we lost a good friend and my mentor, Harry Carter, to a 2-year battle with cancer, something we're hearing way too much in the fire service. Harry was larger than life. He authored the Command Post column for decades, was the first contributor to Firehouse.com when it launched, and authored blogs and shared his views and opinions through various Firehouse platforms. Just with Firehouse alone, he racked up over 600 articles, blogs, and other pieces of content. He wrote about his AFG grant road trip where he traveled across the country to see how the AFG grants were impacting departments, and he wrote about so many other topics. Each of you here is touched by Denis, Jim, and Harry's efforts over the years. You may not necessarily have known them in person, but their legacies live on forever in the U.S. Fire Service through the pages of Firehouse and events like Firehouse Expo. Their desire to better the fire service will never be forgotten. As you navigate the convention center this week, please be sure to network, ask questions, soak up all the knowledge that's being shared. Take time to visit with the vendors, ask your questions. There's a lot of good stuff out there that can help the fire service move forward. So please make sure you spend time with the vendors on the exhibit floor. But we have to say you have a great time, be safe, and be careful. So I've been at Firehouse since 1999. One of the favorite projects I've worked on over the years is the Valor Award program. We've added the Community Service Awards in a few years ago because we know so many folks in the fire service give back to their community way beyond that of responding to a call. So it's a great opportunity for Firehouse and all of our sponsors to honor the extremely heroic, outstanding, and brave work all of our firefighters do on an annual basis. It's just a job for you, and I understand that, but many of you go above and beyond every year, and we're fortunate enough to be able to highlight some of your actions in Firehouse magazine annually. This year's honoree exemplifies the award's namesake, Michael O. McNamee, a retired district chief from the Worcester Fire Department. Chief McNamee's decision in 1999 to prevent firefighters from going into the cold storage fire where multiple firefighters were missing saved the lives of countless firefighters. Unfortunately, Chief McNamee could not be here with us this week, so it's my great honor to introduce Darren J. Harsch as the recipient of this year's Michael O. McNamee Award of Valor. Darren is a firefighter with FDNY Squad 270 in Queens, and he responded to a commercial fire on April 3rd that almost claimed the life of a fire lieutenant. He was teamed up with Engine 311, who was preparing to stretch a line into a building when a 15 by 20-foot section of roof collapsed on the crew. He and his colleague from Squad 270, firefighter Paul Jennings, were blown back by the force of the collapse, but they quickly gathered their tools, oriented themselves, and began going to work as maydays were being called around the fire ground. Darren was able to get into the dense smoke conditions, find the hose line that Engine 311 was on, and followed it until he was able to hear a pass alarm. It was very faint, but he was able to pick up the sounds and get a general idea where the missing member was. He requested a reciprocating saw, which he used to start cutting through the dense roofing material, which was already broken and splintered. The entire time, dense smoke conditions and high heat were around him and the crews in there. He was able to make a 2-foot by 2-foot hole with the saw where he was able to determine where the firefighter's legs were located and then determine where the firefighter was trapped. As he continued to make cuts inside those conditions, additional members of Squad 270 and Rescue 4 moved in with a cache of tools and were able to lift the roof off the lieutenant and his head and chest. Thankfully, his mask was still intact, and the crews were able to package him and remove him from the debris. He sustained burns and other injuries. However, thanks to Darren's efforts that day, the officer survived and is recovering. The split-second decisions he made following the unexpected collapse certainly made an impact on that day's members and crews. One of my best friends was working that day and was working alongside Darren as they were rescuing the member. So Darren stepped up, did what he had to do, his training kicked in, and just like that, it happened. So congratulations, Darren.
Good morning. I first want to thank Firehouse for this tremendous honor. I'm up here representing a much larger team. The members of Squad 270 and Rescue Company 4 worked extremely well together to make this operation successful. And in my opinion, the reason why the lieutenant's alive today was really based off of his own actions. He wore all his PPE correctly, he kept his composure, and when the collapse occurred, he was able to transmit a mayday and activate his emergency alert button. He was trapped for over 15 minutes, and he was able to keep his composure, like I said, and also his body in a way that allowed him to breathe. So I believe it was his own actions that saved his life, and we were just there to kind of help him out. So again, I really do appreciate the honor, but I'm representing a much larger team. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Bill MacRae, and I am the publisher of the Firehouse Media Group. I'm thrilled to welcome all of you back to the 2022 Firehouse Expo in the amazing city of Columbus, Ohio. And the entire Firehouse team would like to thank our attendees, exhibitors, speakers, and sponsors for attending this year's event and bringing your expertise and enthusiasm to Firehouse Expo. You, as fire service leaders, have the vision, knowledge, and experience to help us pave the way into the future. You are truly our greatest asset today and tomorrow, and we could not accomplish what we do without your support and leadership. So thank you. I'm honored to once again announce this year's Thomas Carr Community Service Award recipient. This award is given to fire service personnel who have gone above and beyond in service and a commitment to protecting their communities. Before we give the award out, I did want to thank our award sponsors: Blackington, E-Dispatches, Liberty Artworks, the New York Association of Fire Chiefs, Ready Rack, Rollin' Rack, and Waterway for their support and generosity to help us honor America's bravest. Thank you, sponsors. The Thomas Carr Community Service Award is named after the late fire chief who held the top positions at the Charleston, South Carolina, and Montgomery County, Maryland fire departments. Chief Carr encouraged fire departments to not only get involved in community service activities, but to engage in activities that truly give back and elevate a community in a way that can change lives forever. Chief Carr's wife, Ann, was unable to be with us today, so it's my pleasure to announce that the Cottleville Firefighters Community Outreach Group from Missouri is the recipient of this year's Thomas Carr Community Service Award for their outstanding outreach efforts. The Cottleville Firefighters Community Outreach Program is a nonprofit run by members of the Cottleville Professional Firefighters IAFF Local. The group gives back to the citizens who they protect by providing additional support when it's needed. The group provides smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors to residents at no charge. And since 2008, they have purchased, built, and installed home safety devices, access ramps, restroom support handles, and shower handles. The program offers a firefighter for a day to kids who face extraordinary life challenges. In 2021, the program partnered with the St. Charles County Ambulance District to teach high school students civic responsibilities and to build disaster kits for classrooms across the county. Since 2017, they have taken part in the National Coats for Kids program, which provides thousands of coats to students each year. The program also provides scholarships to 2 students each semester who attend St. Charles County Community College for studies that relate to firefighting, law enforcement, EMS, and nursing. It's my great pleasure to introduce the men and women of the Cottleville Fire Protection District, their Fire Chief Skip Stevens, and Cody Wilbright. Cody.
Thank you, Bill. I joined the fire service to help others, a statement I would wager that everyone in this room has made at one point in their career. And out of that passion, our outreach was born. We believe the call to help others does not begin and end with dialing 911. And with that in mind, we developed many programs like Crisis Assistance, Coach for Kids, After the Fire Assistance, and Firefighter for a Day. But these charitable actions could not be accomplished without our amazing community board members, the Cottleville Firefighters, and the Cottleville Fire District staff that donate their days and nights on and off duty to helping their community. So thank you to the Firehouse Expo and the Carr family for this honorable award. Thank you to everybody in this room that makes the fire service the prestigious profession that it is. And thank you to every member of the Cottleville Firefighter Outreach who have dedicated countless hours in the pursuit to help others. Thank you.
Next up is the Firehouse Hall of Fame 2002 inductee. When we introduced the Firehouse Hall of Fame program a few years ago, we often looked at the authors and the speakers who were published in Firehouse, who were speaking here in front of you at the conferences. But there's several folks who have done a lot more behind the scenes that's taken us a while to recognize. They are the silent sentinels. And this is exactly what's going on with this year's honoree. Not only has he spoken for us, but he's been a strong driver of Firehouse's education programs over the years. His efforts are known by many. Many know him, but I don't think they really understand the hard work that he has done over the years. I would like to welcome Dr. Denis Onieal to introduce his peer. Denis is the former Deputy Director of the U.S. Fire Administration and former Fire Chief in Jersey City, New Jersey. He's going to share a little bit more about today's honoree. Denis, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. As an Army sergeant, Butch Cobb flew on surveillance planes in Vietnam, searching for enemy troop movements and ambushes. Those spotter planes flew very low and very slow, and essentially, they were an enemy target with wings. And those of us who were in the infantry really appreciated the work that they did. They saved a lot of lives. And when he returned home, Butch Cobb went on the Jersey City Fire Department, and his first assignment was Truck 5, the busiest ladder company in the city. He was my replacement when I was promoted to lieutenant. And he and I went up through the ranks together. He was a couple of years behind me, and when I retired as the chief of the department, Butchie Cobb was a battalion chief. And we worked together for years, helping men and women in the state of New Jersey study for entrance and promotional exams in the fire service throughout New Jersey. When Butch retired as a deputy chief, he went to work for the Insurance Services Office, the ISO folks. And at the time, I was the Deputy United States Fire Administrator acting as U.S. Fire Administrator because the President had not yet appointed a new administrator. And during that time, the tragedy of the Charleston 9 occurred. And Charleston had an ISO rating #1, and that rating was displayed on everything that they owned. Every vehicle, every tool, every patch was ISO #1. Long story made short, there was something wrong with the system, something wrong. And if you get to hear Dr. David Griffin today actually talking about that, don't miss him. The long story made short, I asked Butch and his boss to come down and see me, and we talked about the tragedy in Charleston and the consequences. And we discussed it for a long time and agreed that probably the right thing for the ISO to do was to change their rating schedule to more comport with the NFPA standards for firefighter safety. And Butchie Cobb got that done. He traveled this country. He fought the good fight for all of us. This truckie from Jersey City changed our world. And that's why I'm here this morning to honor him. And I'm proud to know him. I'm proud to have worked with him. And I'm proud to introduce him this morning, Butchie Cobb.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a seat. You're taking up some of my time to speak. Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. Dennis was just amazing. He just was, I don't know what to say. He was really the wind beneath my wings. He got me started and never stopped. And I'll be forever grateful to Dr. Denis Onieal, Dr. Chief. We never call him that in front of him, but I can say it now because I'm retired. So Dr. Chief, thank you very much. I'd like to thank Pete Matthews and his staff at Firehouse Magazine for giving people like me the opportunity to share knowledge with everybody that's out here. It just doesn't happen that often, and Pete's done a remarkable job. If you don't know what goes on behind these curtains at the magazine and all these events, Pete just does a wonderful job. And when he got the position, when it got out and he was appointed the editor-in-chief of the magazine and of the conference, I could tell you every fireman out there that ever spoke for Firehouse had a big smile on their face because they knew Pete. Pete goes way back with all of us, and we were so glad that they chose him to continue with the magazine. So Pete, he's behind the curtain, but Pete, thank you so much for giving us all an opportunity. I'd like to thank anybody that ever touched my life during my fire service career. Some of the guys are sitting here. Pete Greasy, Lenny Ribicki, guys that work with me my whole career. The Jersey boys are over here somewhere. I got a whole contingent of guys from Jersey that are all out speaking on the speaking circuit. I learned something from all of them. I've just always been surrounded by great people. I've always learned a lot from great people at every rank. And if you're up and coming officer, lieutenant, captain, you can still learn things from firemen. And if you're a battalion chief, you can still learn things from lieutenants and captains all the way to the top. I just continued to learn, and I was very fortunate. Now, I know before me, when other firemen had the opportunity to get into the Hall of Fame, they would come up here and say, I want to thank Harvey Eisner. He got me started. Same with me. Harvey Eisner pushed me onto the showroom, onto the classroom floor. He said, you have things to say. He says, put it into a program. It was so long ago, I think it was on a overhead projector. That's how long ago it was. And then we moved on to 35 millimeter slides. And then, of course, the PowerPoint. But Harvey pushed me onto the stage way back when. I don't even know when it was. And I was so nervous, I walked into a room and I gave a presentation on surviving a fireground or whatever I was doing at that particular time. So I got to thank Harvey. I know he's looking down, keeping an eye on Pete and everybody else. And thanks, Harvey. But truly, I got here. Harvey might have got me to where I am. Harvey and Pete, my family got me to everything else. I have 4 wonderful grandchildren sitting over here with my daughter, my son-in-law. Yeah. And my son and his wife, Devin, just an amazing group. They not only helped get me here, but my wife, Diane, we had some rocky roads. I had some blowback from Vietnam about 10 years after I got back. She got me through that. 9/11 was another little bump in the road, and she got me through that. So not only is she, my wife Diane, the fabulous teacher, retired, but not only did she get me through those things, kept me alive. I'm here because of her. Thank you. I know I'm leaving a lot of people out. The guys from Worcester are here. Where are you? I had an amazing friendship with the guys from Worcester dating back to 2000. And we continue to see each other every year after the Worcester tragedy. And guys from Charleston, we did a little something for them. Just a tremendous career, thanks to all the people that are sitting here that I know. You've all touched me and made me a better person. And Firehouse and Denis, thank you very much. And for all the kids out there, I'm 74 years old. I've been retired for 12 years. I'll be going into somebody's classroom with a pen and pencil, and I'll be taking notes because I want to keep up to date on the fire service. And like I tell all the people when I'm in the back of the class writing stuff down, the first time, 2 times I use it in my presentation, I'll credit you, and the third time, I made it up, and it's mine, so. Thank you, appreciate it, thank you.